everyone, this is Marie Blue Angel, and today I'm playing A Wish of Snow. This is a visual novel from the Winter Visual Novel Jam, and I'm very excited to check it out. I'm really in love with this title page. I love like the warmth coming from inside the building and how it contrasts with the darkness and the blue of like the snow and the cold. I assume that might be a theme going on in this story, so we'll see. But anyway, without further ado, let's just get going. Her Majesty's Royal Invitation. By decree of the Crown, Mrs. Solange Beaufort and the members of her esteemed house are cordially invited to attend the year's end ball, to be held within the resplendent halls of the palace, on the eve of Saturday, the 9th of December, 18XX, at precisely 8 o'clock in the evening. Ooh. Despite the unprecedented flurry of snow blanketing the land for the first time in years, the warmth of camaraderie and the radiance of 1,000 lanterns shall light our gathering, casting aside winter's chill. Every noble is requested to don their finest gowns and winter wraps, as well as distinguished tails and cravats. Sleighs will be provided to escort our honored guests through the frosted paths leading to the palace gates. Okay, so we're invited, and maybe we didn't want to go. Dread rippled through me, turning into waves of resignation, even as I fought the urge to either mutterly distinctly unladylike curses or tear the letter into shreds. Maybe the first one sounds more fun. Even as I fought the urge to mutter distinctly unladylike curses. Instead, it fell from my hands, fluttering onto the ground like a facsimile of a snowflake. Sometimes words come up and I'm like, wow, I know the word, but do I know how to pronounce such words? Sometimes. And there goes my reading night. Oh, I love all the colors on you. So bright and beautiful. Due to the inexplicable appearance of snow in several years, most of the townsfolk fled inside. They wondered and pondered over if this was a sign of the end of times or simply a warning from the spirits. While my parents, like most nobles, wondered if the ball was cancelled. Sighing, I looked out into the window, watching it shudder from the force of the icy wind banging against it. Strange. The snowflake on my window is gone. In place of actual snow, it became a tradition to make a wish while one hangs a paper snowflake by the window each winter. Is that the snowflake you're talking about? I assumed you would have hung that from like the inside and not the outside. But where did it go? It was said to carry a person's wishes from their hearts right into the ears of the otherworldly. I also really like the UI. It's very nice. I like that it's like also up instead of like here at the bottom of the screen where it usually is. Just so I can also appreciate the character sprite a bit more. Could this mean that the spirits took my wish this year? It would be nice to see him again. Who? A wry smile crossed my lips. I like the expression changes. Though it's more likely that it fell whilst Matilda was dusting the windows. As though she heard my thoughts, the familiar sound of her throat clearing cut through my nostalgic haze. Pardon me, my lady, but the Duke would like to ask if you are ready for tonight's ball. Another sigh escaped me before I could help it. I turned back to the window. You know I'll never be half as ready for these things as I pretend to be. If it helps, I will have a warm bath ready upon your return. That's very nice. I shot her a grateful smile. Out of everyone in this household, Matilda understood how immense the pressure to save the reputation of House Beaufort must be. Your father believes that it may be your last chance to find a husband, given that... Yes, given that I am his only daughter, who, spirits forbid, would grow into a kindly old spinster. Matilda was silent for a moment before she picked up the fallen letter. There's nothing wrong with being a spinster. Too bad the rest of society doesn't see it that way. She stepped closer, her eyes kind but swimming with sympathy. It was a stare I'd been familiar with ever since I was young, being subjected to these events like some sort of show pony prize of Duke Beaufort's. Lady Solange, I know this must be difficult for you, but I can only thank you for your tireless efforts. Without you securing a spouse, the house may very well fall into a state of disgrace and disrepair. And, well, I shudder to think what would happen to an old lady like me. My mouth went dry. I don't know. Both are nice, but are we determined? I don't know what ending this means. Like, I think it'd be fine either way. I'm just gonna perish the thought. Perish the thought, Matilda. It shan't happen. As you wish, my lady. Consider the thought perished. Her old wrinkled hands shook slightly as she held out the letter, and I took it. Ooh. That fateful night arrived sooner than I would have wanted. Despite the enchanting waltz and pleasant chatter, nerves gnawed at my stomach. Regardless of my feelings, however, I smiled gracefully as I descended the stairs and glided into the ballroom. Countless faces glanced up at me, many of them men, earls and dukes, who could prove to be my match. I must choose someone for the future of my family. I repeated those words to myself, to remind myself of my duty. As I arrived at the bottom of the staircase, I observed the people around me. I like the transition, the movement, it's nice. A shifty-looking man with a cane that made me look away immediately. A gentleman with a red suit who seemed more engaged with the glasses of lemonade rather than dancing. A blond man with a kind smile who was snatched up by a woman with dark hair. I chose not to approach first, lest I appear desperate. Yet I grew antsy merely waiting. Lady Beaufort, it is such a delight to see you have decided to come. I turned to look at a tall gentleman walking towards me. It was Lord Easton. We'd met in seasons past. He was a boisterous man who loved to make his presence known. Conversations with him were not terrible, but a part of it would usually be heard by half the people in the room.
My lord?
Lord Easton, it is such a pleasure to see you as well. Oh, you know me. Oh, you know me. I could not miss the event of the season. Snowfall be damned. And, if I may, I should like to start this event by asking you for a dance. An invitation so soon could be a good sign of my luck in finding a match. Lord Easton is scarcely the best option around, yet I could do much worse. Putting on a smile once more, I offered my hand.
Of course.
So elegant. The gentleman took me to the center of the ballroom, and so we began dancing. I do like this is fun. So, my lord, I heard... Oh, surely you heard about my new estate near the fields of Belrose. Of course, there's scarcely anyone who has not heard of it. I must say it is truly magnificent to behold. I hope that you would like to join me one day. I would surely like to see it. Lord Easton smiled satisfactorily at my response. It was what he wanted to hear. Truthfully, little do I care about seeing it, but I wager he is to organize a dinner soon enough with how much he desires to show it off. Another event I would certainly be forced to attend. As I twirled, I caught a glimpse of something that grabbed my attention. Among the many guests of the party was a man of sky blue hair. Ooh. It stood out not merely because of its unique color, but also because I recognized it. Could it be? No. Surely he cannot be at this ball. Yet my mind would not let go of the thought that perhaps it was him. Lord Easton looked at me, seeming to notice my distraction. Let's look for him again. I briefly looked back at my dancing partner and offered a smile. He smiled back, pleased to have my attention, and quickly he began to speak. But very quickly, my eyes drifted once more, searching for something, for someone. Oh. There, amongst the crowd of people, I saw his face. It was him. Erwin. Erwin? The one I wished for when hanging my paper snowflake. Who are you? For a brief moment, his gaze fell upon mine. Seeing those eyes, sparkling as diamonds, there was no doubt about it. He was truly there. Before I realized, the music came to an end and Lord Easton bowed. It was a pleasure dancing with you, Lady Beaufort. Though I couldn't help but notice that you seemed to be not present. Is something the matter? What? Oh, not at all. You must forgive me, my lord. It is quite all right. I suppose I shall see you later. Excuse me. Lord Easton left with a nod of the head, soon to find another lady to dance with. Had I squandered my chances? No, the evening has just begun. I mustn't let that concern me. Yet, my mind wandered once more to him. Was I to seek him out? Though it may be more proper to let him find me first. See, I didn't grow up with these rules, and I did say I was going to try, but also I want to seek him out. What if he disappears? Propriety be damned, for I could scarcely wait to see him again. It has been so many years since I last saw him. Would he still recognize me? Walking among the crowd of nobles, I sought him once more. Some tried to speak to me, but I scarcely heard their invitations. Then I saw him. He was walking, looking between the nobles, searching for something. And then our eyes met once more. I felt a fluttering in my stomach the moment I realized he was truly here. It was not my imagination making me a fool. Solange. The gentleman rushed to approach me, but then froze up, his eyes wandering momentarily to the people nearby.
I meant to say, it's a pleasure to see you, my lady.
Oh, blushing. As we technically knew each other, regardless of the time past, I greeted with a nod. However, he bowed at the same time, rather than nodding back.
Aaron, is it truly you?
Arwen, okay. Apologies, that is to say, Lord. I realized then that I did not know his family name. In fact, I did not know he was part of the nobility at all. I merely knew him to be a traveler.
Oh.
Boreas. Lord Boreas. Of course, Lord Boreas. I have to admit, I did not expect to see you here. It has been so many years. That is to be expected, I suppose. It is not often I have the chance to visit this kingdom in my travels. But for this evening, I received a personal invitation to come. Truly? So you must know the Queen? Oh, yes, of course. That is what I meant. Why are you looking over here like that is not what you meant? His gaze flickered away for a moment before returning to me. That is incredible, Arwen. I did not know you were of noble blood. That made my behavior in our past meetings all the more embarrassing in hindsight. Blush, blush. Well, I did not want that to affect our conversations.
People act differently when they know who I am.
Fair. I cannot deny that. Had I known, well, it matters not. I just hope I did not make you uncomfortable. You could never do that, so, Your Grace, I was truly glad to spend time with you. I felt a heat rush to my cheeks hearing those words. Likewise, Lord Boreas. Yet something still was on my mind, a question missing an answer for many years. My lord, I must ask you. I attempted to put on my most polite tone, thinking through my next words.
Why did you leave?
I'd expected you'd ask eventually. Then you must have known how much it pained me. Lord Boreas, there hasn't gone a day since without you on my mind. It meant a lot to me how you actually listened to me. So when you disappeared, I was left with a void within me. An empty space no one else could fill. So why did you leave like that? My voice was low to avoid being heard by others.
Solange.
Lady Beaufort. It was sadly a choice outside of my control. I was called away. I had to leave as soon as possible. Believe me, it hurt me just as much to leave your side. Yet I could not ignore my duty. You couldn't say anything? Well, couldn't you still have said something? Bid me farewell before you left?
I felt abandoned, Lord Boreas.
Oh, I guess I should be trying to do a British English accent. I truly apologize. It was never my intention to cause you pain. You must believe me. But it was urgent. Matters would have gotten perilous had I not left. Still, that is not an excuse. I wish I could have done things better.
My sincerest apologies.
Oh. The way he looked at me was enough to melt my heart. Blush, blush. I was upset, yet if there was something I could relate to, it was his sense of duty. At least you are here with me now. That means a great deal to me, you know? Lord Boreas's expression brightened at my words. Lady Beaufort, I feel the same. Silence befell us for a moment. Despite how much I wished to talk to him, the words would not come out. In such a public setting, discussing anything could lead to eavesdroppers learning things they mustn't. I took a look around me, to the couples dancing, then back at Lord Boreas. His eyes never left mine, and they looked into mine expectantly, as if waiting for me to speak further. Yet I was thinking of more than talking. Can we... It doesn't matter. I mean, I know it technically matters, but it doesn't matter. May I have this dance? Will you ask me for a dance? Make it up to her. Lord Boreas. Yes. Or are you going to ask me for a dance, or must I do it myself?
No.
His eyes wandered to the people around, seeming to realize at last what I was hoping for. While seemingly nervous at first, a chuckle escaped his lips when he looked back at me. As you wish, Your Grace. Blush,
May
blush.
I have this dance?
He extended his hand to me. Of course. Despite the glove he wore, his hand felt cold. We made our way to where the other dancing couples were and began moving along to the music. Now, being so close to him, I felt warmer than ever before. A memory of the times past struck me. That familiar warmth that surged inside me during our many talks. Yet the hand on my back was anything but. How could it be? Are you cold, my lord? Not at all. Yet your hand feels as cold as the snow outside this very palace. Does it? Well, I assure you I'm quite all right, so you needn't worry about it. If you are sure. Yet I remained uncertain. We continued swaying to music, mostly in silence. Arwing carried an expression of intense focus as if he was afraid of missing a step. I squeezed his shoulder lightly, attempting to comfort him. Sorry, I am not quite used to this dancing. Do you mean waltz? Is it not common abroad? How odd. Yes, but I have been practicing. I did not want to make a fool of myself at this ball. But you saw through me, did you not? It is quite all right, my lord. You're doing very well. I suppose I am a tad nervous.
To be dancing with such a beautiful woman? Who would not be?
He says while blushing. Are we not both blushing now? I was taken aback by the sudden compliment, my cheeks blushing bright red. Apologies, I hope that was not too forward of me to say. Yet the truth is, I wanted to tell you since I first laid eyes on you. You look stunning. Oh,
Lord Boreas.
so cute. Before I knew it, we were at the very center of the ballroom. I could feel the gaze of many nobles on my back. I see Marwyn noticed too as he nervously glanced around. I did not make an obvious mistake, did I? No, but people are certainly looking. Give them something to look at. Is my choice, though. Let us give them something to look at. What do you mean? Oh, follow my lead. Guided by the rhythm of the orchestra, I let myself flow more freely in the dance. With grand gliding movements, we took the ballroom as our own personal stage. Aw, look at them. It took Lord Boreas a moment to understand, but then he followed suit, letting me lead him. Our movements became free, but perfectly synchronized, two bodies moving as one. Around us, the other dancers and spectators seemed to blur into the background. I looked into Lord Boreas's crystalline eyes and thought, for the first time in this event, this is where I want to be. As the song drew to a close, we slowed, the people around us coming back into focus. Oh, they're so cute. Look at the CG, it's very nice. Lord Boreas seemed exhausted by the dance, but a smile still rested on his lips. I have never truly danced like that. It was quite fun. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. I did as well. Suddenly the people around us applauded, and whispers could be heard all around the room. The gentleman beside me shifted nervously, so holding his cold hand, I led him to the side. Are you quite all right? Yes, though I think it would do me well to have a rest. Not used to being the center of attention. Not quite, no. Come, let us go to the balcony and get some fresh air. That would be lovely. Still holding on to him and forgetting about the looks of the other nobles, I took him outside. I led him over to the balcony, my small slice of haven away from the hustle and bustle of the ball, where I could finally breathe. Lord Boreas leaned against the banister, the wind ruffling light blue locks. His eyes shone like shards of glistening ice, concern and curiosity refracted in those dazzling shades of blue and white. My lady, is there something on my face? Ignoring the heat swarming my face, I shook my head and stood next to him, by now used to the lack of body heat. Please, now that we're away from polite company, simply call me Solange. All right, Solange, then call me Arwen. Now, may I ask for a copper? Or no, is it silver now? I attempted to stifle a giggle at his mumblings. Foreigners can be quite silly. I'm glad you find me amusing. Regardless, a piece for your thoughts, then. It is nothing. It's simply been a while since I last laid eyes on you. What has it been? A couple of cycles now. The countless celebrations without him flashed before my eyes in a boring series of flashbacks. Yes, many balls have passed without you. It's been dreadfully dull, to say the least. Is that so? Are the people still so stiff and cold? You think that they'd be walking statues with how lifeless they are. It's always the same. Same questions about my dowry, my talents, my ability to bear children. Are children something you want? I turned to him, the rambling building in my throat stumbling to a halt. I'm not certain I have a choice in the matter. You deserve to. Cheeks once again raging like a fireplace, I cleared my throat. It seems I'm doing it again, venting to you like an uncouth fool. The first night we met flashed through my mind, me rushing into the garden to blow off some steam, unknowingly running into an unsuspecting Lord Boreas. Had it been anyone else, I would have been hauled off to my father, or worse, exposed for ill manners. But Erwin is so kind, offering his kerchief and ear for me to listen. You are no uncouth fool. You simply have lots of thoughts bottled up. It is refreshing to hear them spoken out loud. Even now he is being magnanimous. It is remarkably easy to talk to you. Truly. I've been told that others find me too chilly. Well, they are fools to misjudge you so. Still, I offer my apologies for going off on a tangent, Arwen. Again. It's quite all right. As much as I despise your current circumstances, I do appreciate seeing this side of you. Utterly enraged?
Utterly passionate, emboldened, and warm. The complete opposite of those frigid nobles.
That's a nice reframe. I rather like ice, but not in people. Not like that. I see. Well, I appreciate you listening to me, nonetheless. Always. It is a pleasure. So, how have you been? A world-weary sigh escaped him. Arwen turned around, resting his elbows on the banister as he looked out into the horizon. My employ takes me to various parts of the world, but I must admit, traveling can get cumbersome at times. How so? I've never ventured out from the kingdom before. Never. Arwen's multifaceted gaze turned thoughtful when I shook my head. There is beauty in the world, and I am fortunate to be able to witness it and its inhabitants from across many lands. Oh, that was supposed to be Arwen. It sounds lovely. It is, but there's never enough time to appreciate the sights and sounds. And by the end of it all, everything looks the same when you cover it with enough sleet and hail. What's your favorite part of traveling? He met my curious look with a soft, discerning stare. I fought the urge to fiddle with the hem of my dress. The people are always a surprise. Whether they bundle up or scurry into their homes or rush out in the snow to play, you can never tell. Even with stuffy nobles? Not all of them are stuffy. Like I said, they can surprise you. Sometimes I wish I could stay for just a bit longer, get to know the people, rest my feet for a while. Once upon a time, I would have given anything to break free from my station. I understand my fortunes, but the weight of responsibility and duty, it robs you of the choices you wish you had. This time we let out twin sighs that echoed across the tiny space we shared. Out here, it was almost as if the two of us were the only beings in the world. Since snow hardly befalls our kingdom, we have a little tradition. Oh? Yes. We hang paper snowflakes upon the window, along with a wish we hope the spirits would take notice of and grant. And what was your wish this year? A teasing smile played on his lips, eyes sparkling like sunlight upon the snow. Though the urge to don my mask in an attempt to hide my ruddy cheeks is strong, I try for a nonchalant shrug. That's a secret. Besides, what matters is the wishes we can make now. I'm not sure where we could acquire paper, but would you like to hang a paper snowflake with me? An enigmatic smile crossed Erwin's face. With a hand behind his back, he stood up straight, and with a flick of a wrist, presented me with... Is that my paper snowflake? It had to be. I was the only one who insisted upon yellow snowflakes, using dyed paper my father had imported from abroad. How did you... Solange, there's something I must confess. I am not human. I mean, I kind of figured, but... What? Then... what are you? Oh, the glove's icy blue hands. In response, Arwen began taking off his gloves. Instead of the same healthy peach hue of his skin, the tips of his fingers were tinged blue, as if in perpetual frostbite. A snow spirit! Those are only legends, but he's real. This must be a dream, but that's like denying his existence. That makes sense. That makes sense. Truly. Yes, the cold skin, the strangely colored hair, and the unawareness of etiquette, and the way Arwen moved with otherworldly grace that took my breath away. A huff of disbelief escaped me. I placed a hand on my forehead. I can't believe this. I'm not sure what myths about us have been circulating these days, but I do have one more way to prove it, if you let me. The so-called spirit held out a hand, leaving me staring down into sapphire-tipped fingertips. Etiquette lessons had no guidelines to this, but common sense told me to run. My heart called for me to take his hand. Ah, chilly. I have no warmth to speak of. Slowly, giving me ample time to pull away, Arwen led my palm to rest over his chest. Nothing thrummed under my touch. Nor a heart. But if it did, I know it would beat for you. Crying. So cute.
Arwen.
I could only stare at him, everything else fading into the backdrop. I know not how we stood there, with my hand on his chest, till the distant sound from the ballroom snapped us out of the daze. You must have more questions. How old are you? How old are you? Is that not a rude question to ask a person? Is that not a rude question to ask a person? We did just establish that you are not such an ordinary person. Touché. All right. To be honest, I've lost count after the first few millennia. He's been around for so long. Is that all you want to know? A leading question. I tear my gaze from this paper snowflake hanging on his hands and onto the soft smile on his face. Why did you take my wish? A little snowflake told me you wanted to see me one last time. Oh, hush you. He laughed when I gave him a playful tap on the arm. Then, ostensibly, the mirth faded from his voice as tender longing replaced it. It was my wish as well. I missed you, Solange. If only I could stay for longer. What do you mean? Gently, he reached out to tuck a strand of my hair behind my ear. I caught his ice-cold hand, trying to discern the answer in his eyes that avoided my own. Arwen, please, I wish not to make you uncomfortable, but I must know. The nature of my work is forever fleeting, Solange. Winter cannot remain in the same place forever. The implications of his words sent my heart plummeting to the pit of my stomach.
Change is the only constant in nature. And my time here is almost up.
No. I mean, options. We either go with you or, like, we travel. Solange travels with you, or we just wait every winter. And if it doesn't winter all the time, like if winter doesn't actually, like if it doesn't snow and get that cold here all the time, then it could be years again. First option seems like the best choice. So soon, but you just arrived. We can't buy more time. We don't know when. So soon, but you just arrived. Just spend another night, maybe to cause the rivers to freeze over. That's all right. Perhaps then we may try traversing on that ice with their sleighs. Solange, the longer I stay, the stronger the snowstorm. I've seen people die from the bitter cold, and I shan't let that happen to you.
Thank you for spending this evening with me.
No, let's be together forever. He took my hand in his cold grip. and placed a freezing kiss on the back of my palm.
Far be it from me to be the cause of your sadness, but I must not overstay my welcome.
In desperation, I clasped his hand before it could fall.
Don't go. Please. Do not leave me again. Not like this.
I feel that. Moonlight silhouetted his features, making him ethereal under the silvery glow. His smile was like freshly fallen snow, pure, soft, and delicate. Something that could easily melt and slip past my fingers once more.
I'm sorry, Solange. But to stay would be to doom your people to an eternity of snow.
And to leave would doom me to an eternity without you.
He leaned in until our foreheads touched gently, a cool balm to the longing ache festering inside my chest. I mean, it's been years, too. Arwen. I feel like going is like,
I'll go with you.
Whatever do you mean? I do not know where you are going, but I want you to take me with you on your travels. I let you go once, and if you truly must leave again, then at least let me come with you. I could not do that, Solange. Wherever you go, it will only be winter. And what about your home? You would scarcely see your family again. And I could not take that away from you. It was a difficult choice, to be sure, but could I truly spend the rest of my life far from my love? Forced to marry a man I did not love, merely for the sake of continuing my bloodline. Surely, even without me, Matilda and father would be all right. I have made my decision, Arwen. This is what I desire. I took his cold hands in mine, still holding on to their warmth, and looked into his eyes.
Solange.
You will have to become a winter spirit as well, to travel with me. Are you truly certain that... I wish for nothing more than to be by your side. If that is what it takes, I am ready. There truly is no swaying you. Well, who am I to argue with the lady?
After all, seeing you for every day of my life sounds like a dream.
And it could be our reality.
Yes, I would like that very much.
Erwin cupped my cheek with his hand and brought his forehead to me. I began to feel my body grow cold, yet some warmth still remained in my chest. My heart was still beating, but I could feel I was no longer the same. In the snowy night, the wind carried us away. Behind us, the snow in the kingdom began to melt, and we continued forward. We traveled through countless lands, all of which were met with beautiful white snow. It was the first time I was able to witness so many different places. I relished in the sights and in the presence of my beloved. As for my family, I never did see them again. It was only my hope that Matilda found a better home to serve, that despite my disappearance, she would still be continuing her life, stronger. Perhaps one day the winds would carry us both back to our kingdom, and I could greet them again. Oh, that was so nice. I mean, what choice would you make? I mean, there's also a couple other choices. I think we could have just asked him to stay. Let me see if I can go back to that and see if I can just do that, because we have a little bit of time. But I do like this ending of they travel together, because I wasn't sure if, like, we saw him and I was like, oh, maybe she can just marry him and then, like, whatever, but it didn't count that he would be a winter spirit, so, you know, a snow spirit, so that doesn't really help with the whole, you know, establishing and continuing the bloodline and all that, at least not in the same ways that nobility might like in this society. So yeah, give me a second. Okay, I'm back to this last choice. I'm gonna ask. Let's see what happens if I say, stay with me, please.
Stay with me! Please.
What? What? That might spell the end of the kingdom. The winds would continue to howl, the snow to fall. And would that be so bad? The people have been deprived of snow for years. I held a hand out to the scene below where villagers carry lanterns as they traverse the night markets, children making angels in the snow. They've missed this. I've missed this. I've missed you. I reached up to take his hands in mine, wishing now to ease the furrowed brow of worry from his handsome face.
I made the mistake of letting you go once. Never again.
Solange.
Please. Are you not here to make my wish come true?
You wish to see me.
And now I wish to see you every day for the rest of our lives.
How does that work, though, if he's a winter snow spirit, you know?
Technically, that'll be 2 wishes, my lady. But for you, I'll make an exception.
Okay. He grasped my hand, lacing our fingers together, hand now in ungloved hand, letting me feel the chill of his touch in all its entirety. As hail pelted the structures, the snow lined the streets, the citizens quietly adapted as best they could. Others, unused to the harsh climate, slowly migrated out of the kingdom. Though initially displeased, father came around to Erwin eventually, especially with his uncanny knack of bending the snow to his will. Matilda was ecstatic for me to find the love of my life, but only made it past the first 2 winters. We decided to honor every sacrifice by entombing each citizen in snow, perfectly preserving their memory. Perhaps that is how Erwin will cherish our love when the day my warmth finally leaves this earth. But until that day arrives, the rest of our time is spent in icy bliss, in our small but forever peace of forever. I feel like I preferred the whole traveling together, because it didn't doom everyone to snow. But personally, winter is not my favorite season. I don't mind it for a little bit, but it is hard winter, as it is for many people. But I do know people who actually really enjoy winter, so can't speak for everyone. But I really liked A Wish of Snow. I'm glad that Solange and Arwen were able to get together. I just didn't call the whole winter spirit thing, even though I guess I should. I don't know. Sometimes I go into these stories and I'm like, what are you going to show me today? And today is a day where I'm surprised, even though I realize on reflection that I maybe shouldn't have been so surprised. But nevertheless, it is very fun to be, met with, a story that surprises you a little bit. So, this has been A Wish of Snow. Please let me know in the comments, which ending do you prefer? What choice would you have made personally? I feel like I would have made the first choice that I made personally, because I would think about other people. I would feel bad about leaving Matilda behind, but at least I wouldn't be subjecting people to a whole bunch of winter, and then I could travel for my own pleasure. And I think also that it's like, it seems to me like at some point there's only so much time that a winter spirit could stay. So even if it is for the rest of Solange's life, then like that will still be hard. It's also sad to see Matilda had passed on after 2 winters. So maybe that's not the best. I also like warmth and sunshine, so that's the other thing. But either option kind of leads to like taking those things away. So there's a sacrifice to be made. But what would you do for the price of being with your beloved? That is the real question. And so I like that theme here, because it's fluffy, but it's also it's not exactly like the most lighthearted if we really think about it. But I really enjoyed this visual novel, and I hope you have too. If you have, please press the like button, and if you'd like to see more visual novels on my channel, then please feel free to subscribe and press the bell for notifications of when I do post, because I try to post regularly here. But anyways, let me know what you thought. This has been A Wish of Snow. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye.